Take Necip Fazıl's poems. You can also take poems from another one of our poets. You know how the Sakarya River flows in winding curves? On one side it flows, and on the other that's me, and on the other, Sakarya. Wow, that's magnificent. So, are there any words here that you or I don't know? No, I know Sakarya. I know what it means for something to flow in winding curves. On the one hand, I know all of them. But what makes these into poetry, what makes them extraordinary, is their arrangement. All the words used in the Qur'an are known by the Arabs. There is nothing unknown. But their arrangement, that is their composition, is miraculous, and that meaning is woven into that arrangement. Not just the word by itself, but to the word in context. That's why I think it's a mistake to try to draw conclusions by analyzing the words of the Qur'an one by one. If you consider its arrangement, the logic of the sentence, the logic of the paragraph, the logic of the surah, and the overall logic of the Qur'an in a very general sense, only then can you grasp a world of meaning.
That's also how it wants us to read it.
You can attain it.
And the Qur'an also wants each of us to be thinkers one by one. In other words, it wants us to be people who reflect.
Who would you want to read a book you wrote? Wouldn't you want a reader who is sharp-minded, who can see the meanings there and say, wow, this is it? Well, naturally, the Qur'an and Allah also want readers who can understand, who are capable enough to say, wow, what magnificence. There's nothing more natural than that. Therefore, it also aims to raise that level of quality, the quality of the reader. We need to believe this. Arabic was such a magnificent language that poems were written in it and the mu'allaqat were hung on the walls. Arabic was a magnificent language and the Qur'an was revealed in it. It's not like that. The Qur'an was revealed and it took the Arabic language, developed it and perfected it. A word that has only one meaning, just one meaning. For example, nifaq means tunnel. The word munafiq, hypocrite, is derived from that. A hole that a mouse enters, the Arabs know this. It took an ordinary word, a word from the ground, and transformed it into a human characteristic. It created the concept of a munafiq, hypocrite, and it set up its opposite. It created a whole world of meaning. Look, it took a word and developed it. How does it develop it? By loading it with meanings. These words are the prison of meaning. Words are very narrow entities. Words are like very small garments, words as clothing. In linguistic theories, a word, a phrase is like a garment. That garment in the end will carry a meaning. If the garment is too tight for the meaning, it will tear, burst, all its seams will come undone. The Qur'an expands Arabic, its expressions, to fit the world of meaning. It expands them, seeking to encompass the meaning. This, what I'm saying, is that Arabic was developed by the Qur'an, and we are in a communicative environment that will accommodate that divine, transcendent, irreducible world of meaning, the divine metaphysical world, and make it possible for us to understand it. This should not be overlooked. Just as German was developed by Goethe and Kant, and English was developed by Shakespeare, the language we call Arabic, if it weren't for the Qur'an, would have just been another Semitic language. It would have been a language like Akkadian.
So the language of paradise isn't Arabic then? You know, you can't assign a language to paradise.
In other words, the misfortune of the Qur'an is that it did not have a highly developed, high-quality audience to understand and implement it. I'm not generalizing this. I'm not generalizing. We have had very good scholars. We still do, but unfortunately this...
Qur'an